Someone is killing beautiful women, and it could be any of a number of suspects. Tonight's movie on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, The Case of the Bloody Iris.
To another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! Unchained from the Content Nazis! Episode number 13, Saturday the 13th. Coming off of last night's spectacular haunted house / ghost movie, The Changeling. I really suggest you watch it. It is that good. Anyways, I thought, you know what? Tonight, I am in the mood for a nice Italian horror movie, a nice Giallo, or whatever, however they pronounce it. I'm not Italian, sorry. And so I thought, you know what? I am going to review The Case of the Bloody Iris. So what is The Case of the Bloody Iris about? Well, it starts with a attractive female gets into an elevator in an apartment complex, and then she is brutally murdered. Fast forward a day or two, and one of the tenants in that apartment building, another beautiful lady, is also murdered, but within her apartment building. And now that you have got two murders in an apartment building, what's the thing you're going to do? Well, of course, you've got an empty room, so you're going to rent it out to two more beautiful ladies. And one of those ladies is now being tortured or tormented by an assailant that has broken into the apartment. But no one's believing her. They think that she might just be, imagining things. But we all know because we saw. So who is this assailant? Mind you, is it the architect who knows the ins and outs of that building and all the secrets therein, who seems to have a infatuation with the young lass? Or perhaps is it her ex-husband? Well, I mean, I don't know how legal it is because apparently she was part of a sex cult and everyone was married to that guy, so I don't know if he's got real legal standing in that situation. But anyways, he's kind of crazy, and that's where we get the iris thing, because the flower is a representation of stuff and things, and, sex, whatever. Anyways, or is it one of the other tenants in this apartment building? Basically, they really need to rename this movie to Red Herring the Movie, because they definitely set up a lot of suspects. And really, that's probably the strongest part of this movie. So, of course, she doesn't want to die, so she needs to try to figure it out. The cops, of course, don't, the cops want to catch the murderer. I don't know if they want to actually prevent anyone from dying, because I figure, you know what? If they die and we catch them being killed, then we caught our murderer. I mean, sucks for the person that dies, but whatever. We caught the murderer, right? Anyways. So let's get to those scores. Violence and gore, I am giving it a 2 out of 5. There are some bloody scenes. However, they are very few and far between and really don't have a lot of impact. So, 2 out of 5. Shock value, 1 out of 5. You get the reveal of the killer, but the impact of that is wasted because you kind of figure it out before it happens. And really, there's not a lot of jumps and things. And the movie itself, and I'm going to get to that in the next thing with plot, but it doesn't seem to create that level of tension that you need for some good scares. So, yeah, it's a 1 out of 5. Plot, I am giving it a 2.5 out of 5. I mean, the plot is serviceable, It does a good job of establishing a bunch of people that could be doing it, and it does keep you guessing until you kind of 3/4 of the way in there, and then you kind of figure out what's going on. But it makes sense, and the actions that go on when it comes to the murders makes sense in this way. So the plot works in that. However, the movie has flow issues. And some weird decisions about like the narrative. They try to create this love story between the main lady and the architect. And the unfortunate part of that is they spend way too much time developing that, and it's just boring. And nothing really is happening during those moments. And of course, the police kind of suspect the architect, so they've got a guy tailing him. And in the middle of this, long sequence where they're going on a date or whatever, he's talking to the boss, and he's like, yeah, still nothing's happening. This is kind of, boring. They're just, walking in a park, and they had a meal, and now they're walking back in the park. And the fact of the matter is, it's so meta, because the guy realized that what's happening is boring. And that's exactly what's happening with the person watching this film. You're going, yeah, this is boring. Holy crap, director, maybe let's do some stuff. Let's move on with some stuff. So unfortunately, it has some great elements, but the way they pace it and the choices of how they unfold the story just makes it kind of bland and boring, and that is a bad thing. Anyways, but 2.5 out of 5. Acting, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed some of the performances more than your average Italian horror movie, but once again, it's Italian, and I got voiceovers dubbed in English, so I mean, I can't really tell, but I'm still gonna give it a 3 out of 5. So there you go. Nudity, I am giving it a 2.5 out of 5. There's a pretty good bunch of it in the beginning of the movie, and then not so much, and then a bit of it in the middle or toward the end. But and they're very nice, some very nice ladies in the various stages of undress. So 2.5 out of 5. Really, the movie needed it at times, because, oh my god, what am I watching this for? Because nothing's happening. So, and my enjoyment factor, here's the thing, it's a 2.5 out of 5. Kind of like Drive-In Massacre, where it had a really great start. That opening scene in the elevator with the group of people and the guy, getting ready, putting on the gloves and stuff like that. It created, the way it was shot, it created tension, and then the murder happens, and it's really great. And you kind of get that with the second murder, because he breaks into the house, messes with the light so that they won't turn on, like basically put like a piece of cardboard so the bulbs don't make contact. Anyways, what was going on there and drowning her, that was some good tense moments, but that all happens in the beginning, and then it just kind of does a lot of nothing. I mean, there's a couple moments with the thing, the guy in the mask kind of breaking in and pestering, but they're so short, and you get this subplot with or you get the stalker ex-husband wants her to go back to the sex cult, and the stuff that goes on was just so bland and disinteresting, and it doesn't maintain that. And sure, at the end you get a better ramping up of things and the final reveal and the climactic battle, but by that time you're just kind of like, oh, finally something's happening. So I don't know. It's definitely kind of a disappointment to me, and I can't give it any higher than a 2.5 out of 5. And my overall impression, yes, 2.5 out of 5, because it's kind of bland. It's got all the elements of what could be a classic Italian slasher. I mean, it has some of the great camera work and set pieces. You have the kind of out of place main theme that doesn't seem to work in a horror film, but whatever, it seems to work well in Italian films. You have some quirky characters and a killer that is interesting and ominous when he's on screen, but it just doesn't. Of course, it kind of messes with you and throws different things at you when it comes to who the killer is. So it does have a mysterious element to it, but it just doesn't all come together well. It's slow. It meanders at points. You really, as much as they try, you really don't have any feelings one way or another for these characters in a way. And it's just, I guess, maybe some bad writing and a bad script, I guess. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing. 2.5 out of 5. And that averages out to a 2.3 out of 5. There you have it. The Case of the Bloody Iris. I mean, it's not a horrible movie. It's just kind of it does the job if you need to see Italian horror movie and you haven't you've seen a bunch of other ones and you haven't seen this one. I mean, I'd say that if you could get it on the cheap, you can watch it on Vudu for free, I believe. So you need to kill like an hour and a half, perhaps. But it's just, don't expect something that's going to be super memorable. Don't expect something that's going to, shake your foundations. It's just, average. It's got some kills, got some boobs. Kind of boring in some parts. So, yeah, I don't know. So there you have it. My review of The Case of the Bloody Iris. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Have you seen it? Am I wrong? Is it actually wonderful and I just don't understand its awesomeness? Or am I right? Is it kind of bland and boring? It has a great start and then just kind of does nothing for an hour and a half and then, okay, here we go, an interesting ending. I don't know. But that's it. Episode number 13 is in the books. And I will see you next time on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And remember, Internet, to stay scary. And, if you're a beautiful woman and someone has been murdering beautiful women in an apartment complex, don't move into that complex because you're just asking for trouble at that point. For your own safety. Go someplace else. All right. Ah!